So, shall we move on to our third topic, which shouldn't probably be long if we can. I'll probably have it be in... Actually, no, this will probably be a separate part as well, depending on how long we talk about it. So, we were talking about, of course, a joke episode that they're going to do. Well, it's kind of both going to be a joke episode, but they are generally going to try and find a winner. And that got me thinking a lot yesterday about, like, what really classifies as a quote-unquote joke fight to you guys? Because I've seen joke fight thrown around a lot, especially shows like Death Battle, or even ones like just loads of verse shows try and do these joke fights. Some of them land, some of them don't, if you know what I mean.
I think it depends on what you quantify as a joke fight. Are
Right.
we talking about a fight that's, like... Basically, the whole concept is just a joke. Like
with
there's no
Rebecca
intended
versus
winner.
Justin?
Yeah. Like, something like that where you either intend to kill both of them off, or have it, like, not really end, I guess?
Well,
Like with
that's...
Chuck versus Segata.
That's kind of what I'm going for, but I mean, like, when you're trying to write... I feel like the whole point of the first thing about a joke death battle, it needs to be entertaining and funny. And then there's a lot of YouTube channels that have tried to do, like, parodies of, like, death battle. And I don't mean, like, rip-offs, like, or trying to just be their own death battle, like Cartoon Fight Club and Battle Royale. I mean, like, when they try and, like, take the formula of death battle and make it really funny. I think a good example of this, well, depending on who you ask, this YouTuber called Nemesis who does not death battle, which are basically joke death battles, like what they did in the back in the day, where it would either end in a draw or they will try so far to take it seriously, and you know, the hosts are literally called Not Wiz and Not Boomstick. But I feel like the novelty of that joke kind of wears off when it's done a lot, and these YouTubers...
The novelty of that joke wore off as I heard it.
Well, there you go. Like, I feel like doing those type of jokes, not regularly, but like once in like a blue moon. And if you can somehow make it kind of funny, because the first one I ever saw of those parodies was rock versus paper versus scissors, and I was like, genius. Like, it's one of those death battles, or you know, not death battles, where it doesn't end because the whole rock paper scissors theory cannot be broken. And that's when I generally feel like you can be funny, but then you do stuff where you take a character who's super overpowered and then give it to... This is what I'm going to say is not really considered a joke death battle. This just feels like a lazy death battle in a way. You take a really overpowered character, find a character who's very similar, and just have them fight, and it's like... And then you have them get annihilated in the fight. It's like... And the thing that kind of makes those jokes not work is they give a full analysis on both characters. So there's not really a joke there, really, if you know what I mean.
Essentially what Deadpool vs. Mask was, like, parodying.
Yeah, that's a good episode of what I kind of consider, in a way, a joke fight, because they parodied spite and one-sided death battles. And I've seen them as a lot on DeviantArt a lot. During the early days when I used to read a lot of DeviantArt death battles, there were some generally good ones, but sometimes when people did joke death battles, they weren't that funny. Like, what was this one I read? I think it was it was something to do with Yang and another character, but I think it was just the fact they were both blonde. And that was the joke of that entire episode. It wasn't Leone, it was just some random blonde girl that she fought. And I'm just there like...
Let me guess, it's go obliterate Yang from Ruby. Haha, I'm not mad about a Death Battle episode at all.
Not those spy ones, no.
The only one I can think of for some weird reason is Tsunade, maybe. I don't know.
No, I'm literally thinking of an episode where Yang just fights a random blonde lady because she's blonde, but she is literally just a blonde anime girl. Like, she doesn't have powers or anything.
That's why...
And I'm just there like, what's the joke? But then they explain the joke, it's like, oh, the joke's they're both blonde. It's like, that's not funny. That's lazy. And
Yeah.
but then you have like Goomba versus the Koopa Trooper. It's so stupid because they're both just really weak minions in the Mario universe. But the idea of them both fighting to the death is funny.
Yeah, and the fact that the fight goes so over the top.
Yeah, like
It did, especially for its time.
yeah, like you can joke about how bad of an animator Ben Singer was at the time, or how Death Battle episodes haven't aged as well. I would probably daredly say I would rather watch Koopa versus Goomba over Goku vs Superman 2. And what's kind of funny is they're doing a rematch for that for a DBX, where people are going to be allowed to vote on who they generally think wins. Well, let's be real. Most of the time when people do those, they vote for who they want to win. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. So those I generally feel like are funny joke death battles, but then you get those death battle parodies where a similar one. Can't Fight Club did this thing called Salt Assault, which they put a
Yes, I remember those.
which they pit a very overpowered character against a character with similarities who's extremely weak, but that character just kills them. They did Sans versus Goku. I didn't find that
Goku
funny.
versus Shaggy.
Yeah, I think that was even before the whole Shaggy memes. And those I probably would have found those funny if I did play Undertale at that time. But similar to the not death battle concept, I feel like the novelty kind of wears off because we kind of get the gimmick of what it is.
I feel like something like that would just work as like a one-off April Fool's thing.
Yeah, that's what I think would have been better, but I think these were pumped out every week, or maybe even, if you know the Carlin Fight Club, they pumped out a lot of episodes. No disrespect to them, of course, obviously they're content creators, but I feel like when saying like Salt Assault, which don't get me wrong, I feel like that's a funny title, doing those so regularly kind of just got, like I said, the whole joke of them just wore off because it's almost like telling the same joke, like not Doctor Who, and you know, just doing that joke every day just eventually wears off. So to me, a really funny joke verse fight could either be where you take something really dumb and just the idea of seeing those fight, like the whole rock paper scissors battle royale, Koopa versus Goomba, because it's such a stupid concept but it's funny. Or I guess I remember seeing this once as a DeviantArt death battle, the most hated Mario character versus the most hated Sonic character. I think that's funny. At the time, I'm not sure they could really call this character the most hated. It was Waluigi at the time. But given Smash Bros, he's kind of grown in popularity. But it was him versus Big. Yes, it was kind of him versus Big the Cat. To me, that's funny because these two at the time were not really that liked by their fan bases. It's changed over time now. It's crazy to think about how big has gained a fan base now. It's weird to think that.
Who don't like me? Oh no! What am I gonna do?
Okay. Completely off topic. Your anime does a really
Sorry.
good Big voice.
It's purely based off Big from Adventure 1.
I can't do a Big
I thought
voice.
you were going like the Proton. I thought you were going for the Proton John reference from TRG. Honestly,
Like, I can't do a big voice. It just sounds like I'm doing a stupid voice. Froggy! You know, I can't do that. Like, I can't do that voice.
You know, as I was doing the voice, I started to feel like, is this in bad taste?
No, because you generally sounded like Big, whereas me, if I try to attempt it, I just sound like someone attempted to sound retarded. And I'm not saying that to make fun of retarded, I'm saying what I generally sounded like. But yeah, that's what I had to say about really joke fights, where if you're gonna do a joke death battle, or just a joke in your versus idea, really you got to think about, is it funny? And I always find this annoying when people say, oh, I'm purposely trying to sound cringy, but it's like, okay then, but that doesn't make it funny, it still makes it cringy. It's like, It's like serving me food, and I'm just there like, this is just literal shit on my plate. It's like, oh, but the joke is, it's meant to be a shitty meal. It's still a shitty meal, mate. I don't want that. I want a decent meal.
like, I watched a thing on YouTube and I thought, oh, this is kind of terrible. And then someone was just like, it's meant to be intentionally. And?
It's like, do you purposely get on the bad roller coaster because it could crash and that's the whole point of it? It's like, no. If I'm going to waste my time, I want to waste my time having fun. Not having fun, not having fun. Like, what's the logic in that? Like...
Also, I was trying to work this in, but I feel like some people need to learn the difference between a joke episode and a comedic episode, because I feel like some people look at, let's say, Grover vs. Machamp as just a matchup, and they think, oh, that's just like a joke episode, right? Like Pokemon vs. Mortal Kombat. No, it's silly, and, well, yeah, it's a silly matchup, but the fight is just really cool.
Yeah, like, okay, here's the thing. You can have a really super serious dark character versus a really not so serious character, and yeah, that's kind of funny.
Pinkie Pie?
Yeah. And
yeah, see, I don't even consider Deadpool vs. Pinkie Pie a, like, joke or gag episode.
I mean, I kind of do, but at the same time, I get what you mean.
Like, because the whole, like, yeah, they'd see past the fourth wall, know exactly what's going on, and, well, just break the rules.
Yeah, so I feel like that's actually a good example. Even though Meg doesn't agree that's a joke episode, but that's another good example of making in a way, a joke death battle. Like, if you have characters like Deadpool and Pinkie Pie, who pretty much just say, fuck your rules, then go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But when you don't take advantage of those type of jokes, you kind of just... I wouldn't say make a waste of time, but you just kind of, like... It's just so many moments you miss that you could have made it, like, perfect. Like, you could have made it extra funny, but instead it's just come off as just boring.
And there's also episodes where, like, it starts off as, like, yeah, this is the, like, debate of it, but then something else happens that just makes it hilarious. Like, Eggman versus Wily.
Oh yeah, like the ending for that. With,
yeah, everyone's just
Sonic.
being like, Eggman's gonna win. No, Wily's gonna win. He has this robot. Well, he has this robot. And then Metal Sonic just kills them both.
Metal Sonic saying, fuck you, I'm winning this.
Yeah, like... that's generally funny. Like, because it completely throws you off. And the fact both Wiz and Boozdick are like, well, technically Eggman died first. Right, but technically Eggman's robots won the death battle. But
you know what? The winner's Metal Sonic.
yeah, like,
yeah,
that's funny. But just like
and
I said,
also, like, based on their research, pretty damn accurate. Like, as they were debating it, everything just went to, Metal Sonic's kind of overpowered in this scenario, isn't he? And then there's Robo wins. Yeah, we know where this is going.
Yeah, so that's kind of my whole idea of, like, joke fights. Like, if your goal is to be funny or do, like, those one-off, like, joke in verse fights, then go ahead. Do you know what? This ain't really a verse episode, but I recently saw this. It's, I think the YouTube channel is Mashed. They did a parody trailer of SpongeBob versus Smash Bros. And it starts off just, you know, a traditionally flash-drawn, you know, animation of SpongeBob with Smash Bros. Characters. But then it completely shifts and it acts like a Smash game, like SpongeBob having his own moveset and his own, like, final Smash. That was funny because I went into it expecting, you know, one of those wacky, over-the-top Flash animations, but the fact that he managed to switch it around to make it look like SpongeBob had a moveset and was fighting in a Smash Bros. Style, that made it more funny for me. And I feel like not a lot of people in the verse community or even the death battle community have done a lot of good joke fights. Either they just repeat a joke that they've done over and over again,
or they just go for a joke that just isn't funny.
Yeah, which, like another example I said, like, Salt Assault could have been funny as a one-off video, like, having, like, this really overpowered character lose to this one really weak character, but because they continued doing that joke, the humour sort of wore off.
Yeah.
But what do you guys consider, like, a proper joke verse fire death battle? Let's go to Uranium, mate, because he's kind of you know, he's very passionate about comedy and, you know, the idea of joke fights.
I'd honestly say best example for a joke fight is just Chuck versus Segata. Just because, like, yeah, going into that, you know, yes, this is a joke. But then the fight just keeps escalating and, like, going so over the top, you can't help but laugh and go, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's both funny yet really awesome to watch. Like, Segata straight up pulling out his chest and just taking bullets.
It's like, just Segata grabbing Saturn's rings, which he can do because he's exempt from physics. Just throwing them at Chuck, slicing through so many planets into the sun. Supernova goes off, and they just both get shades out of nowhere, like, deal with it. In a split screen.
I think my favourite moment from that episode has to be when... Oh, sorry.
And escalating even more, they get sucked into a black hole, still fighting, roundhouse kick, countered with a punch. You see flashes of so many other death battles. There's a constellation, fight's over. Like, what the fuck happened?
Apocalyptic!
Even the KO screen was confused, like, technically no one was knocked out. Right. And my favourite moment from that entire fight has to be when, the start of the fight, when they're punching each other, you see wind pushing the trees in the background. Like, and Chuck Norris just decides to run around the world and to hit Segata in the back of his head, but you still see him preparing to run before the punch comes. What do you think about, like, other, like, parodies or verse type of videos, you know, that try and be funny but fail?
I'll be honest, I don't watch a ton of them.
That makes sense.
Like... Actually, no, that's about it. I just don't really watch them.
Okay, so, like, the first viewing was just enough for you and you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
See,
like...
Your only mate is smart. When he can tell something's gonna stink, he doesn't try and dig deeper to see some sort of some sort of gem at the bottom like I try and do. Like, he's like, nope, this is a sinking ship, I'm getting off it.
Well, that and also just laziness, and I want to watch other stuff.
Yeah, that's... I really need to sometimes learn that. It's like, I could be watching something better right now, but then there's that point in my brain, it's like, then do it. It's like, nah, but let me just give them a chance.
Yeah. And also, like, you mentioned a lot of people, they just make joke out of overpowered character, just annihilates this character that has no chance against them. I just do not think that joke is funny.
No, because those people don't consider, like, people who are fans of those characters. Like, this is something me and your animating kid talked about years ago, where someone just made a joke about Ragnar versus all of Ruby, and, you know, the idea of, like, if they were doing it in the style of, like, BlazBlue Cross Tank Battle, it could have been funny, but the whole idea was, like, because he'd written one, which was Yang versus Ragnar, and I think he even made that an official, well, not an official, but a fan-made death battle. And he made Team Ruby, literally, this was going on in the fight, them depressed and crying over the corpse of Yang. And I'm just there like, mate, I feel like you kind of took that a bit too far. Like,
yeah, well, if some people, I feel like they try and put, like, yeah, this, I can see this happening, and it has happened to me, like, here and there too, like, way back in the day. Like, what some people do is they'll take, like, a character they absolutely love and a character they hate, or just have some kind of resentment towards, or whatever. And that's the whole point. I just want to see the character I like beat the character I hate.
Yeah, I feel like if you're getting into verse debating, that's not healthy. Without calling out names, there's one channel that wanted to do their own version of Goku vs Superman. Now, I always say this. If there are people out there that disagree with a death battle and want to do their own version with their own analysis, their own research, 100% that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you can make a convincing argument why one wins over the other, go right ahead. But this YouTuber, which I'm pretty sure you guys probably heard of, I'm not going to mention their name, but they're pretty infamous in the death battle community. but most of their analysis was just ripping on Superman, saying he was the worst character ever, and, you know, even without that, there's a reason Goku is a better character. And then just watching that, I'm just like, I'm not really going to take your analysis seriously, because you're kind of trashing over an iconic hero who's been around for decades. But you can also see through the bias. It's like, can I really trust your analysis when you're that spiteful towards the other who lost?
Yeah, like, personally, I think if you're going to get involved with debates, if a character you actively don't like is involved, you should stay out of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually why I don't request matchups for characters I genuinely don't like. Like, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. I do not care for Bakugo in My Hero Academia.
And I don't blame you for that, because...
And, yeah, I don't request him for anything.
Because I feel like everyone's guilty of this. We sometimes let people, or just characters, sometimes overwhelm our emotions. But I feel like us three try our best to not ruin the fun for other people. Like, as much as I was not a fan of Blade vs. Mikasa, I understood it was one of Mate's most wanted death battles, so I wasn't going to just trash talk it. It's like, you know, he likes that and he wouldn't do it to me, so why am I going to do it?
Yeah, and I appreciate you for that. Yeah, I think my tongue had a dub there.
Good.
So is that all you have to say about when it comes to like joke death battles, or just what makes a good joke at death battle?
I think just boiling down to it, it just comes down to like, if it's just something that's inherently silly, or like it's a comedic tone for the fight, like Hercule versus Dan.
Oh, that's another really
Like,
funny death battle.
Yeah, that's not like, yeah, the characters are jokes in their respective series, but it's not a joke episode. It's like a comedic episode.
Even just how that fight starts, like it goes all serious, but then like jokey music comes in. They're terribly swinging punches.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's like, it's genius. Already you got me laughing as the fight starts.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the reasons I want fights like, you know, Jean versus Sokka, where they're kind of like the comedic relief of their respective groups, but they still have their like serious moments, so you can make that comedic and it would work. Or like, I don't expect this to ever happen, but a live action Harry and Marv from Home Alone versus Jasper and Horace from 101 Dalmatians.
After watching the latest Cruella movie, I am more wanting that death battle more than ever.
Like, I do not expect this to happen, but if it does and they absolutely nail the slapstick, you could have that be one of the funniest death battles ever made, but still have it be like, yeah, this is like who would win most often, like debate wise. But for the episode, just have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I will also admit, if that fight happens, I have something different planned for the hype video, because I can probably say it's because I doubt it'll ever happen, but like, the characters don't have a lot of moments where it's like, yeah, it would generate hype for this, so really what I plan to do for that is just a montage of pain.
If you could...
just have the 1812 overture play over so much footage and then go through so much shit.
I would love it if you can somehow sync it with every beat to the music you have playing.
Oh, God. Like every cannon fire, just have something heavy, like mash them or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got a couple good examples of that from Home Alone 2 alone.
Oh.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, again, like I said, May understands what really considers to be a funny fight, a funny joke episode, or just a funny verse idea. So is that all you have to say, mate? Should we give it to Sean?
Pretty much.
Alright, mate, let's give it to you then, Sean. And I'm going to stop doing a Cockney accent right now, because I'm thinking I'm offending people.
Offending your own people, if anything.
Well, I'm not Cockney. I'm just ghetto.
Okay, so I feel like there's 3 examples of joke fights that are like different types. Like Deadpool versus the Mask, it was them parodying something, which I thought was a fantastic idea. Segata versus Chuck, again, it was really good for what it was. I think what makes a good joke fight is honestly if they're parodying something, and they're just like, oh yeah, let's just take the piss out of this because we think it's funny. But as long as they execute it right, you know?
Yeah, that's what I feel like you should do for a joke fight, just in general.
Like, I'll be honest, I honestly thought that Smokey versus McGruff was a joke fight. That got announced?
I mean, it kind of was, because the whole idea is that Death Battle's always done these very serious characters. Well, unless you count Hercules versus Dan. But really, it's the fighters. I said that.
No, you said Hercules.
No, I said Hercule.
Ah, yes, my favorite episode of season 2. No, you said Hercules.
No, I said Hercule. It might have been when I had a bit of a burp, so I was drinking my Coke. But I did say Hercule.
What was a Pepsi?
But, yeah, like, you know, the whole point of Death Battle was that...
I was confusing his stuff.
I'm not. I generally said Hercule. Anyway.
I meant the Pepsi and Coke thing, but okay.
Oh, no, this one's a Diet Coke. I went to get another can, and we didn't have any more.
You said earlier you were getting a Pepsi.
Yeah, I've drunk that. Now I'm drinking a Diet Coke.
Mad lad.
Well, you know, you got to mix it up sometimes.
So,
but yeah,
well, fair enough. And also, like, I've actually found, like, switching between them, you can differentiate the taste more.
Just like you could do for comedy, I guess. I don't know, I was trying to segue it back into the conversation.
If anyone out there
like,
thinks that Coke and Pepsi are the same thing, I can confirm that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's a lie. Coke versus Pepsi.
They had a variety. That'd be a great joke fight.
Oh yeah, like, Pepsi do have a mascot in Japan, literally called Pepsi Man, so fuck it, get him involved.
Yeah, him versus Santa Claus.
Yes, because technically Coca-Cola owns Santa Claus.
There we go.
Which I don't know how that's possible, because he's a mythos story from, like, he's an old folklore from, like, thousands of years ago.
What if they composite, like, Marvel Santa and DC Santa?
Just
every Santa you can think of in one character.
Oh my
Buy
god.
Pepsi Man.
But yeah, because the whole point of Pepsi
like,
Man is that he gets hurt every time he runs.
No, but like, you go about it the same way you do Chuck vs. Segata, just have it go like so, like, balls to the wall insane.
But yeah, to write off what Sean was saying, I feel like the reason I consider Smokey versus McGruff like a joke episode is because Death Battle's known to do mainly very serious characters fighting. It's just that once every few times they'll have those characters that really don't belong in a death battle, but somehow make it work.
Yeah, that's another thing that you got to consider when you're looking for a good joke fight is what the characters are going to be for that joke fight. Like, I think the first joke fight would regularly be Koopa versus Goomba, but I like to consider Rebecca versus Justin probably the first joke fight that Death Battle's ever done.
I will admit, that episode, it's not dated in terms of animation, just the attitude towards it, because...
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I can agree on that, because they went about it, it's just like, yeah, we hate both these people.
Plus timing. Timing is also important.
It's also the fact that these were... The only reason people hated these people is because... One, they were young singers, and two, they had that one song everyone hated because it sounded so bad, the lyrics were bad. So they just thought,
the only difference is a lot of people... I was going to say, a lot of people still hate Justin right now, not as much as for Rebecca.
I feel like...
I mean, yeah, because he's a dick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like it's kind of justified why people don't like Justin, but I'm one of those people that doesn't try and, like... I try my best not to try and focus too much on the bad side of people, unless it's really serious of what they're doing. Like, I can never look at the good side of Hitler. It's like, I try and think of the best in people, but there is nothing I can find in Hitler that's good.
No, the fact that some people do, it just makes me think, oh god, this world is fucked.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not laugh because that's another unusual suspect joke. Oh my goodness, but you utilize it well.
Thanks. And I was also I completely forgot about this, but yeah, there's also the joke of like bringing in real people and whatnot, like they did with Justin Bieber and Rebecca Black. There is another matchup that they have said they wanted to do that is basically like that but different, and that's Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Sylvester Stallone, but compositing all their movie roles into one character.
I feel like that's in good taste, because it's not a spite, it's just these two are really cool 80s action heroes, so let's combine them.
Plus, there's all the one-liners that you could have out of that.
I think there's enough...
Yeah, the one-liner potential is super good.
Let's be real, they both have such iconic lines that any one of them used in Death Battle will make me go, yes.
What else is iconic
Rocky
from
fighting
Arnold?
Terminator.
I'll say yes to whatever you both just said at the same time. Oh no, Sean, why'd you show that? No! Delete it! Oh god, I'm just messaging until it goes up.
I'll delete it, okay?
Oh god. I've sent too many messages, it won't let me send anymore. Oh, thank god. Why, Sean? Why? You know, you have to show that for
talking about that.
You have to show that in the actual episode now, because people won't understand what's going on, and that makes me sad, because I'm going to have to look at that face again. Oh, thank goodness there isn't a Sylvester Stallone baby, and don't you dare look that up. Don't. Oh god, my eyes.
So, I want to bring this up about Smokey vs. McGruff real quick. Because the interesting story is that I hated this episode when it got announced. I was ready for this to be the worst Death Battle of all time.
Oof.
But then,
Sean is a
here's
hater.
the funny thing. I loved this episode after I saw it. Like, they took this idea. I thought, oh god, this joke is so fucking stupid. And they made it work. They wrote it well, and they got Laughing Dragon Studio to animate it.
And they also got Christopher Sabat and Chris Reagan to do the voices.
That's already funny
also,
enough.
For people wondering, for people why I said Laughing Dragon, that is what Blind Ferret is known as nowadays.
I was thinking, like, aren't they Blind Ferret? But I guess they
Changed
went
their name a few years ago.
Man,
Actually, you guys want to hear the origin story for Smokey vs. McGruff?
Sure.
So, they were at a con, I can't remember exactly which con it was, and they said that they left out to the crowd they would do 2 matchups. One guy just threw out Smokey vs. McGruff, and they were basically obligated to do it.
Oh, God.
I think that also got a pretty good reaction out of the crowd. That's why they went with it. The other one, though, was Kirby versus Ditto.
Oh, yeah, I know about that episode, and whew.
Yeah, and they were going to do it. They got all the research for Ditto down. Like, oh, here's all the areas that Ditto appear in every game, so this is the kind of Pokemon and powers that it would have access to. Here's what we could use in the fight. Okay, then they look into Kirby. Holy shit! And they realized, yeah, that's how screwed Ditto was, so they put Kirby against Majin Buu.
I remember looking at that and thinking, Ditto might have saw Mewtwo at some point, but even if you were to give him Mewtwo, it wouldn't matter.
Even then. Like, don't mess with the Kirby series.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, despite the fact that those characters are literally the size of, like, a little chibi doll, you don't want to fuck with them.
No.
Even Kazuya couldn't even kill one. And he killed nearly
the fact that Majin Buu couldn't kill one.
Yeah.
Like, the strongest bad guy in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, which is kind of sad to say. Well, at the time, he was the world's strongest. Or
yeah, I specifically said Dragon Ball Z, not
okay,
Super
yeah.
or GT.
Yeah. I think for that, they executed everything so well about that episode that it made me forget all the hate I had for it.
Well, it's always nice going into an episode at first you're not sure what to think about it, but then after you watch it, you're like, you know what, this episode wasn't half bad. I've kind of had that through a lot this season of Death Battle. Mickey Mouse versus Yoda. It's funny seeing Star Wars fighting Mickey Mouse, especially with the whole Disney owning Star Wars' soul. It gave us Mandalorian the Bad Batch, so I guess it's worth it. But yeah,
and also just the comedic moments that fight has, like.
Yeah, but
I'll still never stop laughing at Yoda just smacking Mickey across the face with his stick.
That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of funny and cool moments. Like, it starts off being silly, but then it gets really epic near the end. And I will admit, I've actually grown to like this. I remember I said this ages ago. I wasn't a fan of the song. Listening to it more as I rewatched the episode, I was like, you know what? Yeah, it actually does well, blending both the franchise of Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts into it. And just the moment he stopped Mickey's like laser attack just to send it back with like multiple versions of him, it's like, whoa, it's going all Doctor Strange on us.
This is actually a detail that Max pointed out to me that I want to just throw this out there for you. When Yoda says, "Surrender, you should. The power of the Force, you have not." You can just look at Mickey's face and see his thought process. He's like, "Oh, you might be right, but I gotta keep trying."
Yeah.
I think that was a good detail for that episode. Like, that's something else. Like, it may look like a joke fight at the start, but think it's serious. So it's hard to tell at times what's a full-on joke episode, and what's kind of treated half-hearted, and what's not.
Yeah, like mate said, spite fights I don't think are funny. It's spiteful to one fan base.
I do think if you want to take an aspect that people do like spite in the versus community, like Death Battle did for Deadpool versus Mask, that's the perfect example of a joke fight.
Yeah, just like parodying it and like pointing out, yeah, that's why it's like not a good thing.
Yeah,
it did.
Like, okay, sure.
The whole message did kind of get ruined when Deadpool came back, but I think I've grown to appreciate the message more and more as time's gone on, because it's funny, because when they're trying to explain it, you notice this detail. At first they look excited about it, but then as they're further explaining it, they're just realising, wow, we were shitty people. Because it's like, do you really feel good about yourself just purposely making one person lose a fight? Well, I mean, most people on the internet probably would, because they're shitty people, but really, I do feel like there's generally people out there that have done a spite fight and they were just like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah, it's why I don't want matchups like Silver versus Trunks. Because, yeah, I get the connections, but most people who request that, they just want to see Trunks kill Silver.
Yeah, I think it was similar in the case of like Waluigi and Big. Silver's actually gained quite a few fans over the years. I think that's mainly due to the Archie comics as well, turning him into a bit more of a funny character and stuff like that. It's just unfortunate Silver had to get introduced into the attempt at turning Sonic into a gritty anime, because he had some pretty funny lines in the comics. It was an ongoing joke. Characters constantly saying it's no use, and at one point when they're struggling with a fight, he gets so mad he just rips an entire room apart and defeats one of the villains. It reminds me of like Scrooge McDuck getting so angry, just tearing apart a ship, just with Sonic. Yeah, so I don't think spite fights are funny. Like,
no, they're not.
Like, here's how a spite fight could be funny. Get two of the most shittiest people in fiction or real life and have them fight to the death and have them both lose. That I would watch.
Fair.
Actually, in saying that, no, they did that with Hillary and Trump, and that did spark some angry comments.
That was a DBX.
Yeah, that was an EBX. Also, it ended with Captain America becoming president.
Oh yeah, the DBX one was a bit more comedic and stuff like that, but there was some. I think 1 Minute Melee did their own version, and it was not funny, and I was just seeing some toxic political comments, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going back to DBX. You know,
overall. Hey, but you can finish your thought. I was going to try to wrap up because we've been going for what, like 2 hours?
Yeah, good luck, Sean, editing this. This is going to be the Resident Evil 8 video all over again. Now, I was just going to make a comment like, yeah, I'd rather watch the Wario sounding Trump than the attempt to try and make Trump an anime villain. So at least they were trying to be funny with that.
I can understand that. I feel like overall, though, what makes a good joke fight is, well, the characters that are involved, and the best kind of joke fights I feel like are going to be if it's parodying something that they see a lot, for Death Battle's case anyway, then that's going to make a good joke fight. Would Macho Man versus Koi Man top this as a really good joke fight? Probably. I think overall, having a joke fight every like few seasons or so is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
They've talked about the idea of there being a joke fight in each season.
I'm not against that, but I feel like I said before, when certain verse shows try and just...
Or it's also just like, yeah, they make an episode that's silly and has no right to be as good as it is.
Alright,
like,
that's what they mean.
That's what they classified Red versus Blue as last year.
Right,
That's what they wanted to classify Danny versus Poe as, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny. That's a serious death battle. Yeah, it's probably still one of their funniest this season. Just the whooshy finger hold scene just cracks me up every time.
Oh, you know this hold? No.
No.
It's the.
Oh well, you're about to find out.
Like, I love they went into detail with the facial expressions of Poe because he looks generally surprised. Like, this is awkward. Look, I appreciate how much work the sprite animes do for like visual comedy. Like,
Yeah.
the detail they put into it's so good.
Also, you've just reminded me of something.
Hmm.
Like, okay, I'm going back to Batman vs. Iron Man just quickly. Will this get on trending?
Yeah.
I'm going to say most likely.
Yes.
Because the last 3 episodes didn't.
I feel like
For 2 of those episodes, there's solid reasons. Like let's start with Cloud versus Link. Biggest reason: E3 announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still actually surprised Link versus Cloud didn't get a trending.
I would have thought, given E3 announcements, more people would be looking up like Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy, and then seeing that.
No, because a lot of people wanted to see more on Smash news at E3.
Yeah. Do you think it probably would have gotten on trending if they did Kazua's most popular requested death battle against Albert Wesker? Which I'm not too far against that matchup. But
here's the thing: if Heihachi versus Geese did not happen, and they wanted to do a Kazuya match, then most likely.
I'm not too much of a fan of that episode, but I can definitely see the potential in it being a fun episode, especially since me and mate played Resident Evil 5 and we got our shit handled by Albert. Well, actually, not during the first fight. No, we completely annihilated him and he just taunted us, even though we completely destroyed him.
Yeah, suck it, you dead bitch.
And that is still probably one of our funniest boss fights, just for the whole Jill section.
I will just say, for that fight, Kazuya for the fucking win. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, like, as much as I like Albert as a villain, yeah, seeing all the stuff Tekken characters can do, especially Heihachi, who doesn't have any demonic powers that he uses in a fight. What's Albert gonna do against a man that does?
Yeah, and remember that shot of Kazuya holding up a unconscious Devil Jin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should give you an idea on how powerful Kazuya is.
Yeah, like, seriously, I don't understand why people say, like, Tekken, Street Fighter, one of the weakest fighting game universes out there, because what game versions are they seeing? Like, which Tekken are they looking at? So I guess
also,
we should...
not everything is going to be on par with Blaze Blue.
that
Or Guilty Gear.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's definitely some Guilty Gear and BlazBlue characters Tekken could beat. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, if you take like some of the lower tiers and then put them up against like higher. Yeah.
Well, there's one thing Tekken has over BlazBlue. They got into Smash first. As a meat costume and as an official roster. BlazBlue has none. So with that joke out of the way for this joke discussion, that was the best segue I can do. Sean, do you have any final pieces to say?
I do not. I think I got everything I want to say about joke fights out of the way.
All right, then. I think this is probably our longest third discussion we've ever had on this show.
Wait, hold on. Talking of jokes, like for recording, did we talk about the shirt?
Oh, no, I think we forgot to. But thanks for the tip.
So buy it today.
Oh,
they made a shirt out of it.
Oh my goodness! So Biffweed, if you're watching this, your meme got on there. Well, not really his meme, but I saw him tweet it the most.
I want to wear that just like somewhere and have people be like confused. Like, wait, a green boot, some portal-looking thing. Time her face for the tip. What does that mean?
Much people get that as a Rick and Morty reference first.
Oh god.
Oh, you know, with the green portal, they probably would, and I'd have to say, no. No, this is not a Rick and Morty reference, you uncultured swine.
It's gonna be funny, like, I can't believe that meme. Okay, I'm not saying it's not funny. It's literally just, Green Lantern's snarky remark. But the fact that's now on a show from the most controversial death battle of all time since Goku vs. Superman, and they're like, profit.
Okay, as much as I'm still not a fan of like the ending of that fight, just the fight itself, I still think but I also think the post-analysis could have done with like a little bit of work here and there, but whatever. Semantics.
Yeah, it's kind of
okay, that's actually a pretty funny line, and also just the fact they made a shirt out of it, that is amazing.
Probably unpopular opinion. Probably the funniest quote from that fight for me has to be, "You ever seen a supernova?" Several actually.
No, one of my favorites is "Ew, I stepped in loser," specifically when Ben says it, because it sounds like something I would actually hear Ben say.
Yeah.
So you would hear like Era say or Alien Force Ben?
Honestly, either. Like, just have him go way big, step on Vilgax, and say, "Ew, I stepped in loser."
Okay, then, childhood memories aside, shall we wrap up this 2-hour discussion? It's going to be in parts, but we should probably wrap it up for us in real life.
For time purposes.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
Speaking of time,
thank you for the tip.
Yeah, there it is. Just you're gonna have to put that on the screen as well, Sean, as we're talking about it. Not sponsored by Death Battle, but it's a funny shirt.
I ordered the black variant because, well, black is slimming.
ooh,
So, thank you guys for tuning in to Lads Discuss Death Battle. We're excited for Iron Man vs. Well, I guess not all of us. Some of us, one of us, is excited for Iron Man vs. Batman. Only just due to the potential it has.
I'm also excited to find out what episode 149 is going to be.
Yeah, they didn't actually reveal that, which is a bit of a surprise. So, and of course, we're looking forward to Randy Savage taking on the Kool-Aid Man, just for the meme potential. And we're, if you have a different taste in comedy compared to us, leave your comments down below and let us know what you kind of think a joke fight should strive to do. Because, comedy is subjective,
Yeah, like, for example, I like fart jokes.
And, yeah.
they stink.
And puns. Also references.
Yeah, so, what do you consider to be a funny sort of verse joke fight, a funny death battle? Let us know in the comments. And, yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw here, be sure to share the video around and keep the channel growing. And I am currently streaming Watch Dogs Legion, attempting to on my PC, and my laptop's going to be delivered next month. But streaming's back on my Twitch account. You can look it in the description below. And I shall now pass on the outro to your mate.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy this, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out Sean's channel. Check out my channel. Are you excited for Batman vs. Iron Man? Are you excited for Macho Man vs. the Kool-Aid Man? Are you hoping that Barbara Dunkelman will show up as Grandma Boomstick and that Matt Holland will show up as Sarge and conclude the whole Boomstick dad thing?
Oh, Jesus, take a breath.
I was wondering how long we could go with that. And also, what are your thoughts on joke fights, comedic fights, or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, Sean, your turn.
Wow, we're getting terrible at outros.
Thank you folks for watching. Thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our discussion so far. First of all, leave your thoughts on Tony Stark versus Bruce Wayne. And ooh yeah, make sure you leave your thoughts on Macho Man versus the Kool-Aid Man. And of course, tell us what you think a joke fight should be. That being said, thank you folks for watching, and I will see you all later.
Thanks for the tip.